guys, let's get more news about Warriors, but first don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Warriorstrade have dropped a bombshell decision that could completely change the direction of this team both in the immediate future and in the years to come. And when we talk about the Warriors, we're not just talking about any franchise. We're talking about one of the greatest dynasties of the modern era. A team that has defined basketball for the last decade. A team with Stephen Curry still leading the charge and yet now at a crucial crossroads. The announcement centers around something that has been brewing for weeks. Tension, uncertainty, and speculation surrounding the Warriors roster, their future, and specifically how they intend to build around Curry as the window of his prime begins to narrow. Warriors fans, you know this better than anyone. Time is not infinite. Curry is still playing at an elite level, but every season becomes more precious, every roster decision more significant. And now the Warriors front office has made a decision that is being called one of the boldest and riskiest moves they've taken in years. So what exactly is this bombshell? According to multiple league insiders, Golden State has made the official decision to move forward without locking into Jonathan Kuminga long-term under the terms he and his representatives were pushing for. This is huge because Kuminga has been the center of attention all off-season. Just days away from his October 1st deadline to sign the qualifying offer, there were questions swirling about whether the Warriors would bend, whether they would hand him the security and guarantees he wanted, or whether they would play hardball. Now the Warriors have answered. They are standing firm. The decision essentially says the franchise values Kuminga, but they are not willing to compromise their long-term flexibility and salary structure to keep him at any cost. And that right there, my friends, is the bombshell, because it opens up the door to several dramatic possibilities. Kuminga could accept the qualifying offer, which gives him 1 year at $8 million and then the chance to hit unrestricted free agency in 2026. That would also come with a no-trade clause, giving him far more control over his future than Golden State would like. And this is where it gets even more intriguing. Their Warriors could now seriously revisit trade conversations, especially with the Sacramento Kings, who have remained aggressively interested in acquiring Kuminga. Let's step back for a second and look at how we got here. Earlier in the OS, the Kings came to Golden State with what many considered a very strong offer. They were ready to give Kuminga a 3-year, $63 million contract. And in return, their Warriors would receive Malik Monk and a future first-round pick. At first glance, that looked like a real package. Monk is a microwave scorer who could give Golden State instant offense off the bench, and the draft pick could help down the line. But the Warriors weren't sold. They weren't sure about Monk's fit next to Curry and Klay Thompson. They didn't like his contract with a looming player option, and they were concerned about triggering the hard cap due to base year compensation rules. It just didn't feel clean. And now, weeks later, despite all that, the Kings are still knocking. Sacramento knows what Kuminga could become. He's only 22 years old. He's already shown flashes of brilliance. And in a different system, he could blossom into an all-star. The Kings, who are desperate to break through in the Western Conference, see Kuminga as a piece who could pair with De'Aaron Fox and Domantas Sabonis for years. And trust me, the last thing the Warriors want is to see Kuminga thriving just down the road, wearing a rival jersey and giving them problems for the next decade. But if they feel like a long-term extension isn't possible on their terms, they may not have a choice. This decision also says a lot about the Warriors' priorities. For years, this team has been straddling the line between competing for championships now and developing for the future. The two-timeline experiment with James Wiseman didn't work. Now they're at another crossroads with Kuminga. By refusing to hand him the contract structure he wanted, their Warriors are essentially declaring, "Our focus is on maximizing the Curry era right now. We can't tie ourselves to a risky deal that hurts us later." That's a bold stance, And it comes with consequences. And don't forget the financial side. Golden State is one of the most expensive teams in sports history. Choliab has spent deep into the luxury tax to keep this core together, but there are limits. Every decision matters when you're dealing with cap penalties, apron restrictions, and roster-building roadblocks. Their Warriors' decision to stand firm with Kuminga is not just about basketball. It's about dollars, flexibility, and the ability to make other moves. That's why this announcement is shaking the NBA. It's not just about one player. It's about the identity of this franchise. For Kuminga himself, this decision leaves him at a crossroads. He has shown frustration in the past about his role, especially during the playoffs when minutes sometimes vanished. He wants to be a featured player, not just a role guy waiting his turn behind veterans. Now, with the Warriors unwilling to give him the guarantees he wanted, you have to wonder where his head is at. Does he take the qualifying offer and bet on himself, risking injury but banking on his talent to earn him a massive payday in 2026? Or does he push harder for a trade to Sacramento or another team willing to make him the centerpiece? Warriors fans, this is the reality. The next week could define the next 5 years of the franchise. If Kuminga stays on the qualifying offer, it sets up constant drama and speculation about his future. If he gets traded, Golden State risks losing one of the most athletic and promising players they've had since drafting Curry himself. And if the Warriors somehow patch this up with a new compromised deal, it could be a relief, but it will come at a price that impacts how they build around their core. Let's not forget about the other players involved here either. If the Kings package remains centered around Monk, there's a chance the Warriors could still try to make it work through a 3-team trade. Maybe they flip Monk to another franchise that values him more. Maybe they attach Moody or Heel to make the salaries align without triggering the hard cap. These are complicated decisions, but this is why the Warriors front office is known for being one of the most creative and forward-thinking in the league. They have to weigh every option carefully. One thing is certain, the countdown to October 1st has never felt more dramatic, and the Warriors' future hangs in the balance. Stay locked in because this story is far from over. Warriors Nation, I want to hear from you. Do you think the team made the right call standing firm? Should they trade Kuminga now or should they give him what he wants to secure his future here? Drop your thoughts in the comments because this decision is bigger than just numbers on a contract. It's about the legacy of a dynasty and the pursuit of one more championship before the Curry era comes to a close. And with this official announcement, their Warriors have set the stage for one of the most fascinating showdowns we've seen in years.